we go. It's the Kopite podcast.
What's happening, everyone?
It's a Saturday morning.
Still half asleep.
I'm on the juice because I was on the juice last night. Not the roids. Just on quite a few beers last night. Feeling it today, pal. Feeling it today. But all the better for seeing your lovely face.
I can't wait for tomorrow, you know. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
It is. Very, very special game tomorrow. For, the specific reason that fans are back in the stadium, mate. I'm so excited for it. Obviously, we weren't lucky enough to get a ticket in the ballot. But at the end of the day, we are going to be seeing fans in that stadium. They're going to be loud. They're going to be You'll Never Walk Alone singing it. There's going to be chants. There's a lay. I can't fucking wait, mate. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. And I'm just like, yeah, it's making me really excited about the game when in a time where we can't really get excited about the football anymore, can we? Because of all the shit that comes with it these days. Yeah,
and it's kind of coincided nicely with obviously Klopp saying yesterday that Keita and Trent are back. So that's just like another boost into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see the fans back, it feels like forever, doesn't it? I know obviously it's only going to be 2,000 people, but 2,000 people at Anfield, I'm still convinced can create a good atmosphere.
Absolutely, right.
And especially if Neco Williams starts again, which I imagine he will.
Yeah.
What a boost that'll be for him playing at Anfield with fans in there. I think that'll be his 4th game in a row, which is madness, really. But he deserves it, especially after his last game. So yeah, can't wait. But Wolves will be a tricky tie. They won't be coming over to be just to take part. They'll be up for it. I know they lost Jimenez and he'll be out for a while, but I think he'll be back in January. I think if I read that report right this morning. But they've still got a good team nonetheless. Like Adama Traore, Podence, and class all over the field. So we need to be on it, don't we?
Absolutely, mate. It's always a tricky game against Wolves. I mean, if you look at the game last season, we got away with one. I'll be really honest, because the VAR call and stuff like that, and I felt a bit shit on Wolves that. But we really did get away with one, and they're playing really, really well at the minute, and they've got some fantastic players. And Connor Cody's on fire. Like you said, Adama Traore is just brilliant, and it's such a shame what happened to Raul the other day with the head injury. Praying that he's okay. But yeah, mate, I just don't like playing Wolves. I really don't, whether that's home or away, because they're such a quality side. And I'm very nervous about it, but like I said, I'm dead excited because of the fans. And just going back to that for a minute with when I watched the Arsenal game in midweek, it was weird because you could hear the fans, and it felt like, I don't know if there was crowd noise as well, but it did feel like there was the 2,000 were really, really up for it and really making it. And when Lacazette scored that goal, I thought, oh, fair play. And then the way the crowd cheers for, we're going to get that on Sunday night. And I can't fucking wait, mate. It's going to be brilliant. And again, it makes me dead happy, the fact that we're excited about a game.
I know, and it's like any game at Anfield is obviously still nice, but it's not the same when there's no one there. Obviously, it's been nice hearing the players, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, I'd rather just hear some songs in the background and not that shitty dubbed over noise on Sky and BT they put on. I'd rather just have some actual authentic noises in there now and just let's crack on. I mean, like, COVID's still around, it's not going away, but the fact that these steps have been took, that we're allowed to have these fans in, it's only a positive. And honestly, I'm so excited. This is the most excited I've been for a game for what seems like ages, because I just can't wait to see what the dynamics like with the fans in there.
Yeah,
like, it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It is, mate, and credit to the club the way they dealt with it. I think there's always pressure on the club when it comes to tickets, and there was lots of chat before when it got announced of how the club are going to divvy them up and all that sort of stuff. And I think they did it the right way by offering it to season ticket holders and then members who had the 19 credits, because they're the people that deserve it at the end of the day, because they've been to all the games at the end of the day. So I was really pleased, and obviously we knew a few people who got tickets, so it was really nice to see that of our mates getting some tickets. But again, like you just said there, mate, the atmosphere is going to be incredible, because there'll be 2,000 in there, but it'll just feel like there's loads more, because everybody's wanted this so much, and I'm just excited for every person that's going to be in that stadium.
I know, that's what I mean. I'm happy for all them that's going to get a chance to see. Like, I've seen a few tweets of some people I don't know, and I'm like, you lucky bastards. But it's just like it's gonna feel surreal for the people that are walking in there, because I don't think when this all kicked off, like anyone would have thought we'd be back in the stadium this soon. I thought maybe people were thinking, oh, it's going to be year 18 months before we even see anyone, even maybe 500 back in the stadium. So the fact that we're getting 2,000, obviously they're doing it on the tiers, aren't they? So if you're in tier 2, you get 2K in there. But I'm hoping our rates will go down. We might be able to get some more in there.
Yeah, let's hope.
I just don't, like, I've seen some stuff floating around saying, like, is it an advantage having that? Well, I think the way the world is now, I don't think you can have that outlook. I mean, every club that's in the cities that are in tier 2 are allowed it, but you've got to just see it as like a win for football that we're allowed to have people back in the stadium. I don't think we can look at it as like, oh, you only won because you have fans in the stadium that gave you that extra 1% or whatever. But you can't. The way, like, this season is just going to be another one of them where it's like, it's already crazy as it is, like results happening look like us against Aston Villa and just loads of other results like that where you just could never predict that. So I think having fans back in the stadium might alleviate that and make it more of an even playing field, I think.
Yeah, very well put. I definitely agree with you. Yeah. The more it happens, the better. Being like you said, there's clubs like Liverpool and everybody else who's allowed to have fans in and out and stuff like that can set the example of how to do it. Similar way Germany did it, when they restarted it, they showed the world of how you can restart the league. And this will be the exact same. And it's good that Liverpool are one of those guinea pigs that we can do that. So, and again, it's credit to the people of Liverpool for getting the test done, and they've earned the right to do this, and they've earned the right to get that R rate down and get fans back inside the stadium. And I think that's really important, that we need to remember that as well. But I think, like, going into the game, like I said at the top of the pod, you did say that Trent and Keita will be analysed, obviously, before the game. I do think that will probably make the squad. And I maybe, because I remember you saying last night, didn't you, that they might play 20 or 30 minutes, Trent more likely of the two. But like Klopp said, he did say if they can play, he doesn't know. And he said if they are in the squad, but if they can start or play 90 minutes, he doesn't know. But there's a thing that the chance are in the squad. So you can't really, gauge Jurgen Klopp and his squad predictions, can you, with that sort of stuff? But it'll definitely be just a relief off all our shoulders to see those two names in the squad.
Especially Trent. Obviously, Keita's been back before and got injured again, hasn't he? I think it's happened a couple of times to him, which is a shame because I think what was the game he came off on 60 minutes? Was it Leicester? It was Leicester, wasn't it? He was bossing that game and then he came off and we were still good after it. Like, but he's so good at that press. Like, he's fully integrated in terms of knowing a Klopp system now, I think, anyway. It's just getting him on the pitch. And obviously Trent needs no introduction, really. Like, for me, he's the best in the world. The fact that we're still getting these results, like we've touched on in other pods, that we're still getting results without him and with the likes of the other lads out is crazy, really. Like, that there hasn't been a major, like, drop in performance quality. But Trent is our focal creation point. He sets everything, like, and the fact that he can come back into this team and then hopefully get Thiago back. I think it's going to be January now, I think Klopp said. So
I think we just need to wipe the Thiago thing just off people's minds. I wouldn't start worrying every week, is he going to play? Yeah. Just forget about it now till New Year. The poor lad isn't going to be seen in a Liverpool shirt until the New Year now. I think that's what we've all got to accept, unfortunately. It just shows you how bad that the tackle was, and it is a shame that his Liverpool career's not got off to the start that we all wanted and we were all excited for. Some people agree that I wasn't excited for it, but hey ho. But yeah, mate, I think at the end of the day, we've like you've said, I can't believe we're still top. We're still up there. We're still at the summit of the Premier League, given what's going on. And again, it's so frustrating, isn't it, last week, because obviously drawing with Brighton the way we did, when we knew damn well we should have at least picked up a 2-1 win. Yeah. And then the way the Chelsea and Spurs game went as well, you think, oh, for fuck's sake, we could have been 3 points clear. But that, again, it can all change this week as well. But you'd have taken that scenario, wouldn't you? Given the way the injuries have gone. I mean, it's like 11 players is just absolutely ridiculous.
I know, and like Brian's just said there, like, we put Trent back into the first team. I wouldn't personally. I think you agree, don't you, Jay? In terms of Curtis Jones, what do you reckon? Because I think last game, every game he seems to be getting like 5% better and 5% more confidence in his abilities. And I don't think his confidence is an issue.
Yeah.
But I think it's like having the confidence to think, right, I'm a Liverpool player now. This is, and I think I've seen an interview with Trent recently where it was like a couple of like years after he had his first start that he was like actually going, right, now I feel like a Liverpool player. So that's maybe that's just him and his personality, but I think Curtis Jones can be as good as he wants to be, can't he, in terms of his quality on the ball, because he's proved that.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Curtis Jones is. I was always worried about him when he first started, not from his ability perspective. Thought, well, it's a local lad. Is he going to get a chance? Because we have some fantastic players, and he's earned the right to get his chance in this squad, even when we had a full strength team anyway. And that was just him, based on his ability, and the fact that he's playing more regularly now. It's given him the extra confidence. Where now, sometimes when a young lad comes in and you look at it on the team sheet, you go, "Oh, I'm a bit worried about that." But now when Curtis Jones starts the game, it's like, right, well, this Curtis Jones starting, happy days. We know what he's about, and it's the same for Harvey Elliott. When he comes back, he's flying for Blackburn at the minute, and he'll come back with loads more confidence. So for me, mate, I'd rate Curtis Jones so highly. He's got the number 17 on his back. We all know that the last local lad to wear that number went on to great things, and touch wood, hopefully it can happen again.
Definitely, mate. But we've got someone in the lobby here waiting. Let's have a look who it is.
Oh, not him.
Let's have a look. Let's just see who this is. How are we getting this on here, lad? Oh, we've got the wrong thing there.
Leave it to your Uncle Jay. Leave it to your Uncle Jay.
Go ahead, lad.
They'll sort it out, yeah? Is he in? Is
Hey.
I've called the chaos there, haven't I?
There he is.
Right, lad.
Al Moxon's joined us now. Al Moxon's joined us. So Moxon is doing his very first appearance on the YouTube. But first, before we go into, I just want to this gentleman, Wordner67. What's on his t-shirt and where's it from? Basically, mate, it's from Threads for Reds, Dreams and Songs. It's my true love gave to me with everything that we've won, mate. It's absolutely amazing. So head over to Threads for Reds. Links in the description. Head over there and go and get yourself one, mate. Because it's Christmas. Why not? Daniel, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, lads, as well.
Well, I'll get that 20 quid off Threads for Reds after this pod, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dan, seems like we're just going to throw you straight in with a couple of comments. So obviously, Alex has said I'd much rather give Trent Alexander-Arnold and Naby minutes in midweek and give them a longer rest. I think that's a really good point, isn't it? Let's not play them in this game because we don't want to risk them. But for Midtjylland, we can afford to take the risks and play, whoever Klopp sees fit. And like Alex has just said, the Love See Clark giving a go in midweek. I think definitely Trent would probably start if he's okay against Midtjylland, and it's good not to risk him tomorrow, is it?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even after last week's performance against Ajax, I mean, obviously Nico Williams had a bit of a stick over recent weeks, of course, but he really put in a much improved performance against Ajax. And I mean, after a game like that, I mean, we're looking at him, we're looking at Curtis Jones, we're looking at Queve Kelleher, and all three of them played really, really well. And we've just got to say, look, they've all proven that they deserve the chance to start this weekend as well. Yeah. Obviously, Ali's not going to be ready, so Kelleher's going to be most likely for there. But again, Trent, is it worth throwing him back in straight away against, as you've already mentioned, a really, really strong Wolves side? No, I don't think it is. Yeah, Nico Williams, great game in midweek. I don't see why he doesn't deserve to start this weekend as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mick, Dan, obviously with the goalkeeping genes that he has, the man between the sticks. Mick, does Kelleher start for you, or do we go to Adrian? I think Kelleher's in the right to start tomorrow, hasn't he?
No, Kelleher's nailed on. I think after Klopp's presser as well yesterday, he said like Kelleher's done nothing to sway them that he's going to start again tomorrow. So, and after that performance as well, like I seen the team sheet and I was like, wow, that was a surprise. Like none of us expected that, but Klopp seeing it day in, day out on the training field, and the fact that he's put him in against an Ajax side who high pressing, and I think Keller has surprised me how good he was with his feet. I don't know if that's something he's been working on, but Jesus Christ, he was just like left foot, right foot, ping, left back, right back. I was like, this kid's just confident, and that's what you need. Like Alisson's confident in his ability. So if you're not confident in your ability to play off from the back, then I'm afraid you're not going to get that much minutes for Liverpool, especially in goal, because I don't think Adrian's got that ability. He's a good shot stopper, which I hate that term because you're a good shot stopper.
Everybody uses
goal. But
I mean, if you're talking good shot stoppers, I mean, Seaman Mignolet was up there with the best of them, but it was the other aspects of goalkeeping that he was just not good enough with.
Yeah, well, Dan, I mean, glad you're on it, mate, to talk about the goalkeeper situation, because for those of you that don't know, Dan is a goalkeeper. I'm
actually Liverpool's fourth choice at the moment.
And it's like, could you sum it up for us the way it's been over the last couple of weeks, obviously with Adrian and the differences between the two of them? And in terms of preference, would you prefer Kelleher over Adrian at the weekend?
I mean, absolutely, and well, Mick's absolutely right. He's given no reason whatsoever to suggest that he doesn't deserve to start. But more than that, I mean, it was pretty telling from before the game when the question was put to him, why have you picked Kelleher over Adrian? And Klopp's answer, I can't remember his exact word, but basically said that he wanted someone who could play football, and obviously that got memed on Twitter and everything because everyone was just like. But you could see what he meant. He wanted someone confident with the ball at his feet and stuff like that, and good distribution as well. And the thing about Kelleher's performance against Ajax, obviously the big save at the end to deny Huntelaar sticks out. There was a good one to stop. I think it was Mazraoui who had a go from distance as well. Yeah. But one of the real moments that stood out for me was it's such sort of goalkeeping bread and butter. But there was a ball forward is a bit too long, came into his area. The Ajax forward, I think it was Anthony, was chasing it anyway. Right on the edge of his area, Kelleher straight out, hands on the ball. Immediate look up, and there was a big throw out to the left-hand side. I can't remember who it was, bobbing down the left, but it was inch perfect throw. And I just saw that happen and I just thought, this kid's confident. That bit really stuck out to me. And like I say, even though obviously the big save at the end, that was the one that preserved the win. That was the bit that sort of showed me, yeah, he's actually ready for this first team chance. Because I was chatting with someone on Twitter when the lineup came out, and they were saying, oh, Kelleher was a bit shaky and a bit rubbish in the League Cup games and the FA Cup games last season.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, he didn't exactly cover himself in glory, but the difference is the team in front of him was also a set of kids that were also nervous and shaky, whereas this was the first time he'd been given an opportunity where he had first-team players sat in front of him.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's a bit of time there, and that's where some of the confidence will come from. But the difference, if you watch him in those cup games from last season, and that one from midweek last week, night and day, absolutely night and day. His confidence right up here.
Yeah, and that's so important, isn't it, Mick, with young lads now. As soon as they get that game, and he said after the game, didn't he, my phone's been buzzing and non-stop going off and all that sort of stuff, which is brilliant for him, and he can only do his confidence. You know, we've seen from last season he's got a really good family behind him, so the support will be fantastic for him. But again, I do think that the confidence has affected Adrian a little bit, hasn't it? Given the sort of unfair abuse he's had over the last couple of months.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, when I seen the team sheet, I was surprised. But then it's a great opportunity for I thought he was younger than he is. I think he's 22, isn't he? But he's still young. He's still learning his trade. And I think like what Dan says is right. Like the only reference point we had for Kelleher was last year when he was in that cup game. And I was worried because that's the only reference point I've got. I was worried based on that what he was like then. But the fact that he's come on the way he has, as like you can see, if he's doing that in a game against Ajax in the Champions League game, which is like we needed the points to get through. It wasn't like a Midtjylland game where we were through or whatever. Like the game after Sunday, where he could have put him in there and we would have been like that makes more sense because there's no pressure on this game. But the fact that he put him into that game shows how much Klopp has confidence in him. And I think if he's doing that in a game against Ajax, like he must be doing it on the training pitch day in, day out to prove to Klopp that he is better than Adrian. And like there's no other way to say it. Like he must be thinking that he is. Otherwise, why would he put him into a game like that? I mean, he said like he needed Kelleher's natural football playing ability. But I think it's obviously more than that. He can't just go, Adrian shit. I'm sticking with Kelleher now. He's not going to say that in a press conference, is he? So he must be like in terms of like putting him in order. Like he must think that Kelleher's better than Adrian now.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But when we come to the line that's in front of him, Dan, you've got to look at it. If, in your opinion, how do you think that back four is going to look on Sunday?
I mean, it's we've already talked about the right back situation. I don't think Alexander-Arnold will make it in time for this game. I do think Nico Williams has deserved another start. There was a little scare in midweek about Robertson, wasn't there? But he seemed to he went down early on, but he seemed to come through it all right. I might have missed. I don't think we've really heard much about whether or not he's got a problem or anything like that. I've not really seen, but you would imagine that if he's fit enough, he'll be there. And if not, I mean, it's a little bit exciting because we haven't really seen anything of Shimikash yet. So it's nice, to be honest, where we're in a position for the first time in a while where if our first choice left back is out, we've actually got someone who isn't James Milner to go there. Yeah. And speaking of Milner, he picked up a problem as well, didn't he? So I would say Robertson, Williams, full backs, and then it's the centre back pairing. And I was surprised that Reece Williams didn't play in midweek with this one in mind. Didn't start the game in midweek with this one in mind, and that it was Matip and Fabinho. And I would say if they're fit, it would be the same. I think it's going to be Matip and Fabinho again. Even though, as we say, Reece Williams has always looked pretty good whenever he's played in the Champions League. Nat Phillips has done a pretty decent job in his couple of Premier League appearances so far. Yeah. But yeah, if they're fit, I think it's going to be Matip and Fabinho at centre half again.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Jay. I think for Ajax, if Alisson was fit, he would have probably played Reece Williams, wouldn't he? I think the fact that he didn't maybe want to double whammy at Reece Williams and Kelleher, and then if the shit hit the fan, then it would have been like, well, why have you started two kids in such a big game? So I was thinking because he started Kelleher, I think Klopp's sort of thinking was he wanted some senior pros in front of him just to help give him that confidence that we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely. And Mick, I was just saying that you agree with the back four, don't you? I don't think it's going to be any different because I think it's just we need to not put points on the board, but we really need to make sure that we're getting this 3 points. I think Fabinho and Matip are starting to put a decent partnership together. But having said that, you can never second guess Klopp. I wouldn't be too disappointed if Nat Phillips starts the game.
No, I'm just looking at the team now. So it was Necho Williams, Matip, Fabinho, Robbo, Jones, Hendo, and Wijnaldum. The only change I can see is if he puts Phillips in and then puts Fab in midfield and then gives a rest to Gini Wijnaldum, maybe. That would be the only change I could see that maybe would happen.
Gini doesn't need a rest, does he?
Like, it's one of them, isn't it? You think with that amount of injuries, that he definitely wouldn't want to rest. Absolutely not. But you just think that what the body, you know what I mean, and just what would happen, and you can't afford to have Gini Wijnaldum out as well. You know what I mean? At one point we had so many fucking midfielders, and now we're just whittling down now. Right. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But that would be your midfield three then, Mick?
I think I'd happily have that same team again because I think after the performance they gave, and then the only other question really is the front three. Do you put Bobby back in because he's looked a lot sharper recently? Do you maybe put him in for Jota and then have Jota on the bench because it's against Wolves? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do in terms of that one, but it'll be. I'd love him to start, obviously, especially with fans in the stadium. It's going to be a tasty one. Yeah,
Dan, I'm glad Mick's touched on the Jota thing because I would love for Jota to start this match. I really would.
Yeah, that's funnily enough. That's why I decided to come on because I wanted to talk about Diogo Jota. Obviously, we all know how brilliant his start to life at Anfield has been, but even though we would all say that he's got nothing to prove because he's already proven his quality, but at the same time, I feel like he needs a hell of a performance against Wolves. Because there's been so much talk sort of on social media from Wolves fans saying, we know he's good, but he was never consistent and stuff like this. And all these people making jokes about how they've robbed us and stuff like this. And I really just want Jota to go there and not free past them, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, Mick. I run out of things to describe Diogo Jota at the minute and all the compliments and all that sort of stuff. But again, you've got to start him. He's on fire at the minute. It's against his old club. He'll be chomping at the bit. I think he will, given the stuff he's come out and said this week. I do think one of the front three will get a rest. But again, like we said, if we drop Mane, we do miss something on that left hand side. And when we've not got the trend on the right hand side, more play goes down the left, and you don't really want to drop out Mane because you do lose something with the link with Robbo. But how would you play it? Would Jota a nailed on starter for you?
I would. I'm trying to think like how Klopp would. I don't know if he maybe would put Bobby on and not rest Jota, but maybe bring him on like the last half an hour. His fresh legs and pace up against I don't know if they're going to play it because I think last game didn't they play a back four against, was it Arsenal? I think they switched to a 4, so it'll be interesting to see how they set up. Obviously, they're renowned for a 3, aren't they? But they're playing with a 3 with wing backs. Then Jota will know exactly. He'll know their team inside out, won't he? So that'll be the only positive, that he knows all their players and he'll know how to beat them, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and that might give us an edge. So that's why I think, along with how good he's been, like scoring 9 and 15, the fella's a monster. Like he is. Like the fact that we got him for that price was, I was questioning it. I was like, have we overpaid for this? Because I've seen him obviously score goals to Wolves, but you think, well, I don't know why I was questioning it, because why would I question Klopp after all the absolutely amazing signing he's made, where you just like, out of the left field, where you're like, fucking hell, who's this? And then he turns out to be boss. But Yotta's just another one who's came in and just like, none of us could predict how good he's done so far. Like that he's exceeded all expectations. So it wouldn't surprise me if he bangs in a couple tomorrow against Wolves. I hope he does, and just rubs in the Wolves' faces saying we got ripped off and whatever else the shit they've been saying.
True. Dan, Wolves obviously coming off the back of a really good win against Arsenal. And I mean, Wolves are in a bit of an up and down form. They've won 2 out of the last 5, but obviously really grown in confidence with that result, and obviously 7th in the table currently. We obviously said at the beginning of the podcast that I don't like playing Wolves, because we do struggle sometimes not to win. It's just the way the game goes. You know what I mean? It's never like a 4 or 5-0 when we batter Wolves, because Nuno's got them playing some really, really good football, and they're going to be a threat regardless, aren't they, tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think Wolves are one of those sides at the moment where you never know which Wolves you're going to get. They have some games, like, as you say, last week against Arsenal, very, very good. And they've shown that for the 2.5 seasons that they've been back in the Premier League now. But yeah. I've sort of noticed sometimes this season, there was a little bit of this last season as well, they would just have some games where they just weren't at it. And they just kind of seem to come out of nowhere, really, from my perspective. They don't give any warning signs, and then all of a sudden they turn up for a game and they just can't seem to string a couple of passes together. Obviously, we're all hoping that they have another one of those. Knowing our luck, it's definitely not going to be that easy. But no, Wolves are always worried, and you've got to be careful, because part of me, there was a comment that you put on the screen there saying you'd start Jota, Mane, Salah and Firmino and sort of do the 4-2-3-1 with just 2 midfielders, and that is tempting. I'd love to do that. But against Wolves, who do have a lot of danger going forward, I feel like the 4-3-3 would be more solid. Yeah. So as much as I'd like to do all 4 of them, because you don't want to drop any of those 4 at the moment, because obviously the front 3 are the front 3, and then Jota's just been incredible since he came in.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have to be a little more cautious against Wolves, just because they do have so much sort of presence going forward.
Yeah. Mick, which of the players for you, obviously you mentioned Traore there, but they are such a good side going forward, and we are going to get tested. And do you think maybe they'll target Williams at right back?
Yeah, I think it was like Adama Traore up against Neco Williams, but Adama Traore up against anyone it's not a fair playing field, because he's like a rugby player playing footy, isn't he? He's an absolute beast. But you look at the team they played last game, they've got like Podence is really good, like Neto, and then like Dendoncker and Moutinho on midfield, boss ball playing midfielders. Connor Cody, obviously good player. Semedo looks quite good as well, right back. So they've got pace and they've got good ball playing players all over the field. Obviously, missing Jimenez is huge. Like it is, like even Wolves, a Wolves fan would admit that. Like missing him, he's literally the major source of their goals. So the fact of missing him,
yeah,
like obviously it creates an opportunity for someone else. But for me, like I think it's coming to Anfield, and especially with the fans in, Diego Yotta's in form. I don't know if that's just me being overconfident, but I feel like we should have too much of them. It doesn't matter what system we play, like Klopp will get it right. Like I think he will probably go with the front 4. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Like Jota starting Mane, Bobby and Salah, and then going with a 2, maybe as a pivot in midfield. That should be able to stem the flow. And then obviously if Trent can come on towards the end and Keita can come on towards the end, and then you can get more minutes against Midtjylland in midweek, then it's all looking good.
It is indeed. Dan, when you look at the way the fixtures are this weekend, so Chelsea are playing Leeds tonight at 8:00. They can go top of the league. Points wise, they can be up there with others in Tottenham, and then Spurs are playing Arsenal tomorrow. So again, was an opportunity because Leeds, a very, very good team away from home, they gave us a great scare on the opening day of the season. Leeds are a tough side, and if that can be a draw or a Leeds win, and then Tottenham and Arsenal, it's a London derby, anything can happen. You'd expect Tottenham to win, though, given the format they're in at the minute. It could actually be a nice game for us because we'll be, playing last from the top of the league perspective, and it could end up being a very good weekend for us, couldn't it?
It could, and as you say, they've both got, Chelsea and the Spurs have both got really tough fixtures themselves. But at the same time, I think we've got to sort of treat this season, because it is looking a lot tighter at the top. More teams are losing more games. There's more bizarre results coming out of nowhere. Let's not talk too much about Villa. But I think we've got to sort of treat it in that, like we did with that title race against City a couple of years ago, where we just got to not care about how they do. Yeah. We've just got to focus on winning our game. And then the rest is up to the football god, so to speak. We can't control that. So regardless of how Chelsea and Spurs do, it's a must-win game. And every game is a must-win game going forward, because they're I mean, that's the only way you're going to... We've won the title now after a long, long time. And all we want to do is just keep it. And the only way we're going to do that is by winning our own games. So regardless of how Spurs do, regardless of how Chelsea do, we've got to win this game. And we've got to win every other game as well. I mean, I know that's not exactly feasible, but that's just how we've got to look at it.
Yeah, hey, listen, we've nearly done it once.
It's great motivation, though, isn't it? Like, if you go last and you can see maybe Spurs dropping points and Chelsea dropping points, then we can go, right, we've seen what's all that's gone before is here. We can go top if we win today. Go and win it for the 2,000 fans in Anfield. What more of a team? That's the team talk. That is the team talk. There you go.
Team talk. Yeah. Scott, boys, before we finish.
Go on, Dan. You can go first.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I didn't catch it. I'm not sure. It's going to be a really tough one. I think it is really going to be a really, really tough one. And I worry. I really do worry about Wolves, because they do hit us. But I think you talked about Nelson Semedo a few minutes ago, Mick, and I think that's who we've got to target going forward. I think he's good on the ball and he's good going forward. But I mean, he showed it at Barcelona. He's very susceptible defensively, and I think that's part of the reason why we've got to start Mane, because if you've got Mane driving at him and driving at him and driving at him all game long, there's going to be times where he's going to get past him, and that's where we're going to expose a weakness. So I think that's where we've got to focus it, and I do think we've got enough for it. And as you say, the 2,000 fans back in, that is more motivation than anything really. That's all the lads are going. That's going to give them such a boost, even just to have a few voices back in the stadium. So, fans back in. I think we're going to win it. I think we'll win it fairly well. I think it'll be tight throughout, but I think we'll get a couple of goals towards the end. So something like a 3-1, maybe something like
Mick?
that.
Oh, you took it. I was going to say 3-1. So I'll go 4-1. You got a hat-trick. Fuck it. Let's go.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Well, I'm not as confident as you boys, so I'm going 2-1. Just to, that's the way it usually goes against Wolves.
2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 9-1. I don't care. I'll take it.
I'd love it. I'd love a 0 and Kelleher keeping another clean sheet. That would be ideal. But I just feel like they've got loads of quality and they will probably nick one, maybe off like a corner or something like that.
Yeah, probably. All right then, boys. We'll be back tomorrow before the game kicks off. We'll be doing the team news once Klopp does his team news, and then we'll be back straight after the game, reviewing it, and hopefully Liverpool will have gotten 3 points. And Dan's prediction, or Mick's prediction actually, with the Jota hat-trick. Let's get that one.
We've got a Wolves fan on that review as well tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So that'll be good to get both sides of the coin on in terms of what he made of the performance. Hopefully he's not very happy with how Wolves played. That's what we want.
Yeah. Well, we won't insult him like Matt insulted the Brighton fan last week.
Oh, sorry again, Maz. I know you don't be watching, but I'll send you this clip. Sorry on behalf of everyone.
Yeah. Well, as always, thanks to everybody that's been watching. Greg, again, morning, mate. Absolute pleasure to have you back with us. Gav, good to see you again, mate. Dave's back again. Make sure everyone is watching Dave's LFC chats. Really passionate videos that Dave's done. It's really, really good watch. Brian Bonnie, welcome back, mate. Thanks for joining. Some of the comments were brilliant. Wordner67, make sure you check out the link for the t-shirt, mate. And then we want commission on that. Alex, as well. Alex, thanks for joining us from Facebook, mate. Really appreciate that one. And Tomo as well. Good old Tomo, another regular there with his gorgeous beard. Thanks, Tomo. And last but not least, Daniel Moxon, thank you very much for joining us today, pal. Nice looking character. We love it. Mick, as ever, I'll speak to you later. And what do you normally say?
See you next time.